Hi, thanks for tuning in to Love Life 2. This is the new season on positive gender dynamics, and I'm your host, Dr. Vade. Today's episode is called One Love, and we're going to be exploring the purpose and challenges of long-term relationships. Today's guests are Nicole Broderick-Gordon, wife, mother of 2 adorable kids, career woman, beauty queen, the list goes on. And we have our surprise guest today, Luigi Moxham. He is a newlywed, and he's also the proud owner of Cayman Cabana, one of our sponsors. He does the catering. So thank you for coming on the show today, guys.
Thank you.
So I wanted to ask a question to you both, and then I'll give you a little bit to think about it before you get to respond. So don't be worried. When it comes to long-term relationships, I'm wondering, what do you think that men and women are looking for in regards to that lifelong mate? And how does it differentiate between the sexes?
Okay.
And really, does it enhance our chances, maybe knowing what each other is looking for, to kind of pair up with someone who's looking for the same things? So I know that's a lot, but I'm going to give you a little bit to think about it. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a short break.
The vision of Have a Heart Cayman Islands is to bring heart health and happiness to children. Every cent raised by Have a Heart goes directly to the delivery of health care for these children. Without your support, these beautiful children might not get the surgeries they need to survive. Have a Heart partners with local and international organizations to subsidize and provide life-saving heart surgeries to children from around the world based on their financial need. We rely solely on donations and contributions to ensure we can keep mending these little hearts.
"20 reasons to attend the International College of the Cayman Islands" in 20 seconds.
Job promotion.
Night classes.
Challenging.
Affordable tuition.
Brilliant professors.
Business.
Friendly environment.
Accounting.
Finance. Liberal arts.
Leadership.
Broadcasting.
Enthusiasm.
New career.
Associate.
Bachelor's. Internship.
Diversity.
40-year history.
Hey, that's only 19 reasons.
We're internationally accredited.
Yes, cut.
Welcome back to Love Life 2. We have Nicole and Luigi with us. So Nicole, what do you think men and women are looking for in terms of a long-term relationship?
Wow. Yeah, I was thinking about your question, and it's a multiple embedded question. So yeah, it's for me, I think it's been so long since I've looked for
Yeah, you've been with David for...
I've been with David for 20 plus years.
Gosh.
So
and we've known each other even longer than that.
I know. It's funny. This is actually a very cool experience. Thank you for actually having us on here. I mean, all 3 of us are lifelong friends since we were actually in Pampers. Yeah. But for me, I think relationships are built on a number of things. I think each individual has their core value system, and I think that actually drives, you know, what they're attracted to. And for me, of course, you know, it's about a physical chemistry, you know, that physical attraction, that's you know, part of it. But being friends with the other person is also, I think, a very important part of maintaining a long-term relationship. Certainly that's the case with David and I. I mean, we've been together and actually grown up together. We have 2 kids, and throughout that entire process, it has really been about mutual understanding, agreement, and also at the very core of it, friendship. And I think that's ultimately what relationships are about, in, you know, understanding what each other's, you know, backgrounds are, of course, is really important, understanding where you're coming from, in order to make agreements about where you're going. So for me, that's kind of key, understanding, you know, who each other, you know, understanding and respecting who each other, you know, who each other really, you know, who we are, and then making agreements about what you want to have happen in life.
You know, you say respect, and that comes up a lot in conversations that I'm having lately, because I'm talking about men and women a lot, and different types of relationships, not just long-term relationships. But respect seems to be the number one aspect that keeps a relationship going. So as soon as you lose respect for your partner, it's kind of down the drain from there. And I mean, you can kind of earn respect back, or demand respect back in a way by the person you can become if you've kind of lost yourself.
Yeah.
It's hard to respect someone, right? But that can happen, but that has to be there. That's just kind of like a given.
No, absolutely. I think you know, beyond all of that, I think there is a intrinsic understanding that I think people should have with respect to being an individual, because before you actually enter into any kind of relationship, whether it's, you know, with a mate or a friend or, you know, any kind of relationship period, it's important to understand that you have an individual that's coming to the table, and that individual has their own life experience, and that life experience can, you know, kind of teeter one way or another, because guess what? It's their personal choice, right? So understanding that everyone has the ability to kind of grow, make mistakes, you know, falter even, you know, at times, having that appreciation for that human being and their own personal experience, I think is pivotal in ensuring that you can grow, and you know, get past whatever challenges or hurdles that life throws at you. And certainly, you know, in the 25 plus years, really, started dating when I was 13, like, you know, started with telephone love, and then all through high school, and we've gone through so much. And the reality of it is if we did not have that friendship, if we did not have that understanding that, you know what, you're a human being, I'm a human being, we're not going to always get this right, we wouldn't have been able to get past certain, you know, trials together.
Sure. And I think that's quite typical, right? And I'm wondering what Luigi's sitting here thinking. 1 is the man, and 2 is the newlywed. So we're all the same age, basically. So you're on this other end of the spectrum in regards to a long-term relationship. Are you hearing Nicole and feeling like some of this resonates for you?
I 100% agree with every single thing that she said. Like, I really don't know how much to add to that, because she's 100% on point. And I reference the acknowledgement of, you know, how you foresee you being able to grow with this person and evolve. You may not necessarily be looking for it, so that, you know, the question is what you're looking for,
right,
isn't necessarily intentional. You know, you have this this journey that you come upon with this person, and if you don't connect, firstly on the physical, you know, chemistry level, but from a mental, emotional, and psychological perspective as to what your core values are, what their core values are. And when you start to learn, when you start developing a relationship and a friendship with people, those are the things that attract people. You know, the physical, the sexual stuff is very important, but when you get excited about, you know, the ambition, the discipline, the hustle, the vision, you know, the vision of that other person's perspective on life, you know,
respect them.
I respect that, you know, and you're absolutely right. That is the key to understanding and respecting your partner's their purpose and their mission on their life. And if you can be inspired by that to help you become a better person, that is something that is, for me, is very attractive.
Yeah,
You know?
I totally agree. I think I don't, you know, in my mind, I don't think that there is a particular formula that people, you know, like I don't think you actually go into a relationship saying, okay, I'm going to be with that person for the rest of my life. Like I don't know that that's actually how it works. I think, yeah, you connect on a level, and you know, through that connection, you make plans. Those plans come to fruition, and then you know, you just continue to kind of evolve as a unit, and that is really romantic to me. Like seeing, you know, couples who have gone through ups and downs and still, you know, somehow figured out how to stay committed to the common vision, and that's actually, you know, the way that I've been able to.
It's very
to get
inspiring
through.
to see that, especially with friends like yourselves, you know, and family who you trust their vision, their path, and to see how they're able to persevere. That gives you confidence in what you want from your relationship as well. I've been fortunate to grow up with, you know, strong women in my life like yourselves, you know, over 20, 30 years.
Don't make me cry, Luigi.
No, just I'm saying, you know, from my grandmother, my sisters, my aunts, very strong, independent, you know, women that know what they want, and they
go for it.
And they go for it, and they hold their ground regardless of who or whatever the relationship is. So you want to find, from a man, you want and you need a strong woman, because that gives you confidence and knowing that you're having the right person as well. You know?
That's interesting that you say that, because I find a lot of times men now that I'm talking with are saying that they don't necessarily want that strong woman because it can be intimidating to them.
It can be if you're not a strong man as well, but at the same time, you know, I've seen and I've known situations where guys who thought they were strong and they're, you know, the bravo and the woman, but as we all know, you know, a woman can put you on your knees real quick, you know, but you find.
Not that bad.
No, I'm just saying, you know, when it comes to love, there's nothing more precious than that. You want to make sure your woman's happy. Another thing people are looking for, I think, as well, in that whole evolution of this is security and comfort and confidence and companionship. You know, since Christine and I started dating 7 years ago, I wasn't looking, you know, per se for that.
No?
I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking, you know. But
See? I don't really look for this stuff.
I wasn't looking, but I knew when I found, you know, like I was like, I couldn't spend the rest of my life with her. Like I wasn't looking for that, but I knew that, you know, very shortly after, and kept hitting these marks of, like, you know, strong and ambitious and confident and, you know, just little firecracker, you know, and it wants you to become a better person. If the other significant person, man or woman, inspires you to want to be better, as good as you think you're on the right path, that they just open up a different world to you, it's really encouraging for you to, you know, just be confident and happy about, you know, with the direction that's going.
Confidence. That's really important for a man. If we're Luigi is representing the men.
Yeah, it's very important, because there's a reality of it is a lot of insecurity in relationships at times. From the beginning, everyone's all, you know, happy, but there's always an underlying level of insecurity based on your experience. Some people have past, you know, troubles that they just don't have any security, and I've spoken to various people who I can tell the way that they communicate, even shortly after meeting someone that you think is a good fit for them, whatever racket they're playing in their mind as to, you know, what makes them uncomfortable and not confident. You know, some guys look to try and be babied or, you know, have
mothered,
coddled, you know. And the same thing with girls who may have had relationships in the past. They look for, you know, a guy to show them, you know, the ultimate level of security. When it really and truly just gets down to a fundamental of, like, let's have an amazing friendship based on respect.
Yeah.
And sorry, we also have to talk about the attraction too, because I know we've touched on it, but there's so much more to get to in this conversation.
Yeah.
But why don't we take a short break? We can enjoy some of your delicious food. Thanks for that again.
Absolutely.
Don't go
It's
anywhere.
beautiful.
We'll be right back on Love Life 2. Welcome back to Love Life 2. We're in the middle of a great conversation about long-term relationships, about not expecting to find yourself in one and how you get there. So we kind of hit on some really important points, but I do want to talk about attraction because you both mentioned that attraction is important, friendship is important, respect is important. We were really just touching on confidence and how being inspired by your partner really helps develop the best in you. And I think all those things really, I mean, there might not be a recipe per se, but all those elements are extremely essential to describe a successful long-term relationship. But just, to touch on attraction, how important does a man think that attraction and the sexual health of a relationship is to it being successful?
It's very important, but I have to say it's undeniable that from an attraction perspective you think physical, but I'm really attracted to a outgoing, smart, go-getter type of woman, and Christina's definitely that. So I've seen that. And that just was right off the bat. But your question regarding the physical attraction is very important. If you have instant chemistry and that sustains itself and it continues to grow and evolve, you have something. There's a lot of spontaneous, short-term attraction sometimes when you meet people, but when that continues to grow after 7, after 20 years, and you hit bumps and then you still find that. Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah, I think it's less about the physical and more about the spiritual. And, for me, there is, and I know that kind of probably sounds a little bit cliche-ish, but, there is a certain level of intimacy that you have when you're with someone that you're obviously attracted to. And that kind of takes you to a euphoric place that allows you to feel that confidence that you're referring to, right? Like you know that, okay, that's my man, that's my woman or whatever. And there are things that you experience with that person that's actually quite private, personal, and deeply moving, right? And those are the things that, are hard to kind of have a formula for. You either find that or cultivate that, or it's not there. And that's why you'll see, some people will go on a date or two and it just, that's it. There's nothing there. And then others find that attraction and figure out their way through, understanding more about them intellectually, more about who they are and what they're about from a goal and future state perspective. And I think that's kind of where intimacy kind of overrides the physical, sex aspect.
Well, I teach couples in therapy that there's 8 types of intimacy because we do kind of jump to physical sexual intimacy when we think about it.
Yeah.
So there is emotional intimacy, affectional intimacy, intellectual, spiritual, social, aesthetic, and sexual.
All of that.
And
That's 7. There's one more.
fire. You gotta have that
You gotta
fire.
have that, yeah.
You gotta have that fire.
Right.
That
you
level
know?
of-
But I think it is important not to forget about the sexual component. And there is a quote that says, like, sex is the glue to the relationship, right? And so I think that we do have to acknowledge that in addition to all those other things we've talked about, it is a really important component. I mean, there's so many places that I could go with that, but I know we want to talk about it in a holistic sense. But I do want to say, because I think this is an interesting piece of information as well, that attraction, sometimes when we talk about attraction, we're actually talking about what we desire cognitively, like the things that we think we're looking for, like the pieces of a person that we admire. But there is a component of actual biological, sexual arousal. So arousal is different from attraction. So if we think about attraction is in your brain and arousal is in your body, right?
Right.
So there are things about men and women that are different. And that's one of the reasons why I like to have both elements represented on the show, because I think women particularly are aroused by different things than men are. And when we're looking for that long-term relationship or that pair bond, that mate, a woman really is looking for a provider. They're looking for security. They're looking for someone that they can trust and be domestic with. And, I think men maybe are looking for someone also to inspire them to be the best man that they can be, but to be that counterpoint to their masculinity.
It's a partnership.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? I don't know if that's something that rings true for you, Luigi.
I think after 20 plus years being with someone, I can't imagine, what that's like, and how different things evolve, like things that you find attractive, like sexy or excite you, evolves over a period of time too, that sexual attraction is there. But I get so excited about different things than just the physical aspect of it, like, like I'm like when Christine in the kitchen and when she's cooking,
like when she cooks food.
Yeah, but you know why though? Because like watching her do something that she loves and so passionate about and that is amazing at is very attractive and sexy to me. And yeah, so those kind of things really get me excited. I get really happy and excited and turned on watching her do her thing and her being happy, and yeah.
He's like trying not to say too much that he's going to regret it when he goes home and she's going to be like, Luigi, what did you say?
You share way too much.
But it is important. I think that we don't talk about it enough, especially, in relationships, because we get busy. Like life takes over and kids.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, you don't have kids yet. I don't have kids.
I'm like, you throw kids in the mix and it's like a whole other ball of wax, right? Like understanding that you still have to make time for the relationship. And that's something that, David and I have struggled with at times because life does take over and, we're both very, very, busy with our careers, but we also are, more than anything, we are committed parents. And so, the kids are at that stage now where it's really about them, right? Like, ensuring that they're getting all of the support that's required to have them be successful and have the best foundation possible to really fulfill their potential. And so, that in itself, there is a level of romance in that.
You find it sexy when he's fathering well.
He's the most incredible father. And guider and protector, and to me that's actually part and parcel why we're still together after all of these years, is that we have managed to each play our roles, so to speak, but roles in a partnership. And that's that. You know, there's all sorts of stereotypes that are out there that leave people feeling like, okay, that's so unrealistic in today's society. But you know, I'm here, and yeah, I'm not telling you that it's easy. It's definitely not a walk in the park. So as a newlywed, babe, you know, buckle up. It's going to get real. But the reality of it is as long as you can, you know, stay true to who you are as a person and respect the fact that at any point in time that other person could wake up and decide, you know what, this isn't for me. And that gives you a level of personal confidence that you're okay with whatever outcome, because every single day that you wake up, you have a choice. You can choose to be happy or miserable or whatever, and in that space of understanding and awareness is when you really start to apply, you know, positive reinforcement to your relationship, because it's an active choice to say, okay, I'm going to be with that person today, and we're going to choose to be happy. And that is the most powerful part of a relationship that I think I could potentially, you know, obviously share with you and your viewers.
That is an amazing point. I mean, I think it's so important to have that agency so that you know that this is what you want and what you're choosing, and you're communicating that to each other. We haven't really touched on communication so much because I know this goes by so fast. But you know, that's the investment. And when you feel valued by your partner because they want to be with you, that sort of gets returned tenfold, right?
And there goes the confidence that you know Luigi touched on and that you spoke on as well. And when you put all of that together, that's where you have that recipe that you're looking for. It's really about understanding that you're coming to a partnership, whether it's, you know, whatever partnership, and it's based on agreement. And that agreement, if you give people the latitude to be flexible in their personal choice, you now all of a sudden have allowed yourself, you've almost let yourself off the hook in a way, in the sense that you're not actually going to be completely devastated if something goes wrong. And it may not be by their choice. It could be, unfortunately, and in recent time in my family experience, you know, I've witnessed, you know, life ending, right? And in that space, you have been committed to somebody for you know, your entire life, and then all of a sudden they pass. What do you do in that situation? You have to almost understand that every single day you wake up is a gift, and you have that choice, and it's about what you do with that day and what you do with that emotion that's going to be most important and empowering to your personal experience, if you will. And yeah, so.
And it's so character building, because sometimes it's easy to lean on people when we need them, when things aren't going so well. But what happens when we do feel really confident and good about ourselves? Almost like we say to ourselves, I don't need that person? And is that sort of the point when things shift, when it turns into a negative?
It could.
Right?
It really could.
So we need to be very mindful of that, and we have to balance the confidence with the appreciation. And I don't know, there's just so many things that we
so many layers to this.
And I'd like to, you know, continue this conversation. I mean, it's been great, but we are going to have to wrap up today. But it's been great having you guys. I mean, just having the two of you, two of my best friends in the world, on the show has been really special. And talking about long-term relationships, Luigi being from a newlywed situation, but you've been with her for a while.
We've been together 7 years, and people ask me all the time, you know, what's married life like? And it feels very much the same, because we have such an amazing bond, you know, friendship and bond that it's you know, it's a little bit more. It's more romantic as well, because you
Wait
see.
till you have some babies.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking for.
Nicole's on the other end of it. But let me just wrap up for 1 second. Long-term relationships aren't everyone's goal, but it is really important to think about the issues that we've been talking about today, so that you can create a commitment that lasts through the ups and the downs. Thanks so much for being with us on Love Life 2 today.